Yeah, this is all very experimental. Yeah, maybe this works. Yes, we're on YouTube Live. Yay. Okay, I'm going to share it on my Facebook. Okay, and on the Roy Hart voice work group, there is an event I made. So we're live. I'm here with Ron Bonsall, and we are launching the second crowdfunding to complete the film we have started to make in 2017, Moments of Truth. And it has been quite a ride, and making a film is a very heart-wrecking, mind-wrecking experience that I don't know why we have chosen to do this. Why, Ron? Why? But Ron just asked me a strong question, and I want to start the conversation by transforming it into another question, actually. No, I feel that as we were working with the material of the film, there were certain moments in which we thought we knew what's the film about, and then it kind of changed it. And we had some ideas when we came to Malarag for the first time together to film the performance generation. I think what was moving me, there were twice, I feel the story of Malarag, the existence of Malarag is extremely moving for me, and it's moving on many levels. And it is the story of young idealistic seekers of truth and love that went to a journey and went to a journey inside and outside. But I feel what was moving for me was also my personal connection, that I feel I am on this journey as well. And I think a lot of us are on this journey. And this journey is, for me, the discovery of a fuller self. It's healing ourselves and make whole again what was broken. And a lot of this work for me is many times without words, and it's very hard to frame or tell in a synopsis. But I want to turn it as a question for Ron, actually. And it's basically, what's the film that is calling us, that is calling you right now? And what's the dream? What's your dream for this film?
Yeah, you know, this process has had a lot of twists and turns. It's like a river. And the very first version of the film that I was putting together in 2018 began with a story, a poem that I was reading voice over that says, you know, the old story says the world is a dream. And as long as the dream keeps on being dreamt, the world continues. And I was combining the idea of the dream and the song as, you know, referring to the stories of the Aboriginal Australians that have this cosmology that the world is coming from the dreaming and becomes a song, and the song, as long as the song keeps on singing, and we are custodians of the song, and we need to keep on doing it. So the project began like that for me, and now it's becoming that again. And actually that sort of corresponds to my experience with all creative projects that I've been involved in, that you begin with a seed and you put that seed in the ground and then you don't see it anymore, and things happen underground, and then something breaks the surface and starts coming up. It's a sprout, it becomes a trunk, it makes branches, it makes leaves, it makes flowers, it makes a fruit in the end. None of that looks like the seed, but if you open the fruit, you find the seed inside. That's what I think is going on. So in the last few weeks, as we've been, reflecting on where we're at and what the film can be and should be, and what it shouldn't be, we've come back to the seed, actually, that it's a film about dreams that move people to create lives, actually, life projects, and move, leave everything they have in one place to go somewhere else and create a community and meet all kinds of challenges and obstacles, and and yet continue to go through and realize the dream. So that is what we're making. It so happens that the place that we chose to go and begin this project is a place, a group of people a lot of material that we have put ourselves in the film, because it's really our conversation about this. It's not a historical document about so it's happening this way through Zoom calls and recorded interviews this way, but at some point between now and the end of this year, whenever we can move, we will go back to editing and finish this film about dreams and how dreams move us. And it's a very important moment right now, because collectively, for the first time in my life, certainly, I see the entire population of the earth more or less, closed in their house, reflecting on what kind of life are we living? What kind of life do we want to live? What is going on? Why are we in this situation? And that all comes back to our dreams, because basically our dreams and the stories that emerge from that determine our lives. And it's a moment for us, all of us, that we are asking these questions. And so it's a very, very powerful and fertile moment for us to be. And often you hear this thing, and I totally believe it. Nothing happens by chance. Nothing happens by accident. Nothing happens by, or everything is interconnected. Let's put it that way. Even the accidents are connected to, So the fact that we're now moving into the final phase of our film and realizing these things at a moment where the whole world is suddenly confronted with this thing about, so what's your dream? What kind of world did you think you were making here? And what kind of world do you want it to be when this is over? Seems perfect somehow. So, I think it's now we need a budget of several million euros in order to be able to expand the project, to go around and interview people worldwide. this would be, but I think it's also true that we can do it in the microcosm.
Yeah.
We can look at one dream, and in that drop of water, we can see the entire universe. So I think that's really what we're doing.
Yeah, and I wanted to share, I don't know if people are listening to us right now. Someone asked me where to see us, and it's cutting off. So it's very much an experiment, this YouTube Live, but I imagine that as we're starting the crowdfunding today, that we can commit ourselves to have this conversation and make them public, because I feel that as much as we're making a film, we're having a conversation. And I think that's the important part, and having people be part of it and comment and maybe interview people about it. That's also the film. And I agree that it's very much about this moment that we are on that kind of mirrors something in the film we're making, but also in the essence of the film. And I interviewed today Kaya again. So she's 84, and she has been a student of Alfred Wolfson, and kind of the father of this work, of the Roy Hart voice work, which is actually come from Wolfson. And I remember in the interview we had, that was part, still part of the film, that she says about her first voice lesson as the recreation of the world, that she felt that she could recreate the world. And in our interview today, she somehow went back to it, and I was trying to ask her what can this work do for us right now, and she didn't really reply. But I tried to reply myself and feel that when we reach out, and I wonder, what do you think about it? When we reach out and we touch this inner truth, to this inner voice, that's my belief as well. We are actually creating the world. It's not just a sensation. It's really an act of recreation, of a deep connection to the source, to the divine root, or to the essence of being, which is connected to everyone. And so it's, I'm playing with this idea, and I know that it's very hard to maybe accept with the rational scientific method. But obviously when we speak about Jung and the archetypes, and then maybe, becomes an opening. But maybe even the physics of today are starting to touch this essence level. Yeah, so in the interview today, I really connected with that. And the Charlotta Salomon, in that moment of darkness, of human darkness, drawing her life, and kind of bringing the artwork that we're making these days as bringing something beautiful, that actually this is the moment to create, this is the moment to celebrate beauty, this is the moment to build a future that is based on courageous dream making. And I wonder, what do you think about this moment and this film and this divine essence?
I think if there was ever, I completely agree. I think basically every moment, we are arriving. We're on the edge of this wave of life and creation, and this edge is constantly arriving into this moment and this moment and this moment, and it's like the encounter between that and this moment is what creates the world. And every moment the world is recreated somehow in our collective, and I mean collective here now, way beyond even just the humans, but our collective experience of this happening. If something happens, and that happening is the creation, and it is constantly happening. The moment it wouldn't happen, it would be over. Like, the Hindus have this idea that the whole of the multi-universes is Vishnu's dream between one inspiration and one expiration. And then he wakes up and that's it. It's over. Now that just gives us the scale of his size, let's say. His language is always a problem in trying to define these things. So basically, yeah, I think anytime we touch base in our essence and express what we are, what we feel, what we think, what we see, what we hear, we are creating the world. Obviously, not any one of us is doing it for everybody else. We're doing it all together. But I think that's the power. That's the power of art. That's why art is so important. Even though you can't eat it, you can't build a house with it. It's not a material thing. It's an energy. It's a materialization, and visually and auditorily and ideas wise, and yet it's. I mean, imagining a world without art is impossible. It would be a very, very, very sad world. I mean, it would be ridiculous. It wouldn't. Yeah, it would have no soul. And so I think that the work that it takes to reach for the essence, or allow the essence to emerge through us, and to take out of the way whatever is blocking it or polluting it or disturbing it. This is the work of all of us, and that is our artistry. To the degree that we can do that, we become authentic expressions of life force, and it's become a big question now. I don't know if I'm, and I mean I am answering it, but well, I kind of lost the original phrasing of how you asked the question. I don't recall, but going back to Kaya's statement about her first voice lesson was like the creation of the world. Because she realized what was possible. She realized that actually this feeling her voice in her body and the power of all that and the possibility of all that just created her world, made her realize what her world was. And then she added, it seemed as if all my problems were solved. And that's an interesting afterthought, in the sense that and we need to that journey. And that journey is full of challenges. So, and that's the work. And that's the yeah.
Yeah, that's the work. I feel that after this YouTube, that I hope is visible and not too choppy, we can maybe share just that part. I guess we can find it from the original interview, just this part of Kaya stating this. Maybe we can share that as an extract. Are you here, Ron?
Yeah, I lost you for a bit. I'm,
Okay.
wait, perhaps can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be a connection thing. Actually,
Yeah, it was for a moment. Now it's okay again.
Okay. Well, probably need to work on it on the next slide. Yeah, we're starting this crowdfunding, and I felt that maybe we can close this live stream experiment with putting on an intention for this 21 days. We said we will put it for 21 days, putting on an intention for it and for ourselves and for the world. So recreate the world right now somehow. Maybe we can take a moment of just silence and presence and let this kind of arrive, and then we can express it somehow. Sure. So my dream that comes to me now for this is that people that would interact with this crowdfunding and live streaming would be inspired and empowered to follow their dream and to be their dream in this new beginning, which is upon us. It's my dream. And wisdom.
My intention for this is to reach out and to share the reflections and the discoveries, and to affirm our connection in this situation now, given the instruments that we have. So the instruments are, in this case, you know, the live streaming or the post that we put on our Indiegogo page, the videos that we will put there, recorded things, interviews with ourselves, with other people. Because this is a moment of profound reflection and conversation between people. You know, my days are full from the morning till the evening of you know, social contact, not live, not in the flesh, but in the world of communications and ideas and reflections and concerns and dreams and what's possible and what's difficult. And so I want this conversation for the next period and during this crowdfunding to continue that and to be a part of that. And I also want to remind myself and whoever, you know, is going to hear this, that we are reaching out, asking for support and help and energy in the form of money also to finish this project at a time when we're all faced with great uncertainties. And that's exactly why, in a way, we need to do this, to show each other that it's possible, that it's in our hands. And no single person out there needs to solve the whole thing. Yeah, we all do our little part, And that collective intention, that collective belief in our capacity to create is what's going to make the difference. That's so my intention is just to keep this channel open, to keep this conversation going. And with a profound hope and trust that we can do this and that we can finish this film, and that this conversation becomes, the heart of the film. I mean, I think, like, as as for Kaya, her first voice lesson was the creation of the world. I think, this coronavirus crisis is the creation of this world. I mean, this film has now taken on a very important, it's become relevant suddenly for me. It's become very important because it's no longer about whatever no, it's still the same, but now there's this urgency about it. There's this, okay, so now put your talent where your mouth was. Put your, include this. And actually, as long as I've been doing artistic work, that's the one thing I've understood. It only can be based on and grow from where I'm sitting, what is actually happening now. And right now, there's this huge question mark hanging over everybody and everything. And what a brilliant, what a brilliant moment. I always believe that the job of artists is to ask relevant questions. Well, there's never been a better time for that.
Yeah, I celebrate that, and I celebrate you as well, Ron. Just want to recognize something which is basically you, and meeting you, which was a gift through a workshop of innovative theater I was doing in Amsterdam, thanks to Anna Barona that I met in Senegal. And I remember there was a room filled with theater practitioners, mostly young, very energetic, but none as energetic as Ron in his almost 70 years, and none as curious and inquisitive. And I just remember the admiration, and which is still here for you, Ron. And it gives me hope. It gives me hope for the future of myself. So that's possible. I can be that. I can be 70 years old and I can be that. I can be Ron. And I want to connect it with this film because that's also a reason I'm doing this film, is that I can be Kaya, I can be Shaul, and everybody could, and we can be alive until we're dead, not, we don't need to die before we die, we can keep on living, and we can maybe keep on living afterwards. But yeah, I do want to do my closing checkout for this, and does recognize this moment of crisis and a lot of people in crisis, and wishing for peace and calm and health for all. And also this thing about the economy and this moment of uncertainty, like you're saying, like we and many others around the world that have been working with groups or whatever, they just fall in the statistics in which the 20-25% of people that suddenly lost their jobs. And I want to take it for myself and everybody else. Let's make it an opportunity. Let's make it an opportunity. Let's take it not as something to be afraid of, but something to be courageous with. And the same with the economy. Money is just something we send from one person to a person. If you trace a dollar bill, you would see it goes around. It goes around. That's what it needs to do. And the economy is just the stuff going around. And an economic crisis happens when this does not move. So we are empowered to make things move again, and it means sending out to sending in and sending out. And and I think, you know, yeah, we are facing a sort of crisis, but the crisis is that now when we're sending in and sending out, that we bring even more intention, more love, more dream into it, more beauty, more life to it. And so I wish that anyone contributing during these 21 days, do it with intention. Whatever you put, 50 cent, 50,000, a hug, whatever, put it with intention, with love, and of a new beginning. That's my wish.
Yeah. I celebrate that. I celebrate your the warmth and the genuine, you know, vision just expressed. And I thank you for that, for reminding us and me that economy is not about money. It's actually about relationships. It's about moving energy, about the exchanges that are between people, and not only people. You know, there are exchanges between plants and people, and animals and animals and animals, and animals and plants, and sun and soil. And I mean, it's all, you know, it's all the echo part of economy is, you know, our systems of energy exchange and that create possibilities, that create things. And so that's what we're talking about. And I feel last thing I want to say is, you know, supposedly this all comes from China, right? And the Chinese word for crisis is made of 2 pictograms. The first one means danger, and the second one means opportunity. So there you go.
Yes, well, you know, that's actually a
we
myth.
can choose.
It's actually a myth, because it's not exactly like this. It has become a sort of something that people in the business world, and even Augusto Boal was saying, but it's not exactly true. But that's also something to tells us about the power of myth, because when something, even if it's not exact, once it becomes myth, it becomes truth. You know, and it doesn't even matter if it was like that before. Now it is, because the picture, I don't remember, but it wasn't just exactly like that. But I do feel that whatever the Chinese thing is that we are in a big opportunity right now, and we should grab it with everything we have.
Well, we don't have any other choice.
That's the beauty.
Yeah, finally.
Yes.
We don't have no choice. Just do this.
I was waiting all my life to be in this situation in which I don't have any choice.
Exactly.
I can make finally the right choice.
Yeah. My phone batteries are dying, so I'm.
Yeah. Okay. Should we schedule another conversation tomorrow?
We can.
So
yes. Tomorrow is Sunday. Hold on. There's a meeting going to happen here Sunday. I'll have to about the time of it. Let's go for 7 o'clock, but it might change depending on.
Okay, we can decide. We'll let people know when we're going live. It could be, you know, right now we're having dinner a little bit later, but actually it's better for me even if we do it in another time, and we can do also, I don't know, every day, but almost every other day we can have this and open our process. And thank you for the people watching and watching later. And see you soon. We're going live very soon with the page, and say hello or comment, or say you're here if you're here when you're here.
Okay.
Bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.